you choose to run for Secretary of State?
I'm gonna be honest, it was on a whim. I'm the type of person to say no to any opportunity before I even look at it. In an attempt at self-betterment, I decided to say yes to everything for a week, which included filling out applications for Deputy Advocate General and Secretary of State. And the more I filled out these applications, the more I realized I actually had ideas to make the program better. And I had the background to be the leader I think this program needs.
What concrete steps would you take to encourage more people to vote within YNG?
For people to vote, they need to have an incentive and a connection to what they're voting for. David Dobrik was able to get 250,000 people to register to vote with the Tesla raffle. I think we could implement something similar at YNG with maybe just a gift card raffle, which would dramatically help voter turnout. Another issue I think we need to address is connection with the people we're actually voting for. We need to put a face to what our vote actually means, which means elected officials coming down even after they're elected to see candidates and delegates.
What are your thoughts on the current California proposition system?
Initiatives were created to be the true voice of democracy, a way for regular people to come up with bill ideas without the need for a legislator. But the California proposition system desperately needs revamping. Propositions are created and dominated by the rich and powerful, like Prop 22 and rideshare companies. We need legislation to revert positions to the people, ending super PACs and letting regular, not uber-rich Californians decide what issues need to be voted on.
How will you work to ensure equal representation in leadership between larger and smaller delegations?
Small delegation coalitions, letting smaller delegations come together and create connections, giving them the support they need that maybe they don't get with just 10-ish people. But also having joint meetings with larger delegations, giving smaller delegations the support they need to be proud of their ideas on a larger scale. It's difficult, I know, coming from a smaller delegation to sometimes speak up when you have these larger delegations there as well. But if we're able to establish these connections between the delegations, it'll be easier for everyone.
How will you ensure that the actions taken inside youth and government are carried on outside the program?
This is actually one of my policy planks, a commission to help our bill ideas get into our local city councils. City councils are open to all and give an easy way to get legislation heard by our elected officials in our city. A lot of our delegations actually have bills we can bring in at a local level, like changing the packaging on milk cartons. And a YNG commission to support a system like this would get our ideas out of just YNG.
How will you ensure that the voice of the voters is heard and properly represented in the program?
Surveys, surveys, surveys. It feels like too easy of a solution, but my job is to hear from you guys. And taking your advice makes a huge difference in how our program operates. Just by getting a longer lunch, my whole Zoom experience was so much more enjoyable. And so getting your voice heard to me would also mean talking to me. I'm gonna have office hours if elected, so I can talk to everyone and you have opportunities to talk to me about the changes you want to see in the program.
There is a recent surge in the idea of splitting California into 2 states. How will this affect voting, and do you support the movement?
Honestly, it's a logistical nightmare. Statistically, 70% of Californians don't want this proposition. It was actually put on this ballot by a Silicon Valley tycoon who invested his own money into it, and has reportedly said it was in place to give Republicans a chance, which is not nearly a good enough reason because it comes at the expense of marginalized communities whose budgets for social services and programs would be slashed if we split up into 3 states.
Is California's redistricting protocol effective? Why or why not?
Gerrymandering occurs on both sides of the aisle here in California, so honestly, no, our protocol isn't effective. And the best way to combat that, for me, comes down to a 2010 ballot initiative, giving the Citizen Commission authority over congressional districts. We, not political parties, need to draw the lines. And while this ballot was drowned out by political opposition from machines, we as a state must combat the opposition to gain true democracy in our redistricting process.
Who was your favorite California Secretary of State, and what aspect of their agenda did you like the most?
Shirley Weber has recently been appointed after Alex Padilla got appointed to the Senate. She is the first Black woman as Secretary of State and the first Black person to be Secretary of State in California. Besides the fact that she's breaking barriers left and right, she comes from a background of education policy. Education is so often overlooked in larger statewide positions like governor and secretary of state and lieutenant governor. So to have someone with that background in that position is exciting, to say the least.
What kind of impact do you hope to make on the program?
I hope to make a lasting change by bringing Y&G ideas outside of just Y&G. We need a way to share our exciting ideas with our communities, not just other delegates. And as Secretary of State, I want to harness that power that we have through city councils, through school board meetings, through nonprofits, what have you. I want a way for our ideas to get heard and for our communities to know the change we as a program can bring.